And we are live. How's it going, everyone? It is IPC, and as always, I am joined here with my good friend, J-Man the Dual Blade.
Hey there, everyone. How you doing?
So, we just got done watching Pumpkinhead. And J-Man never actually saw this movie until tonight. And I'm of course talking about the first Pumpkinhead movie. You all have probably seen this movie, or you probably haven't. But what did you think at first when I mentioned this to you that we're gonna watch Pumpkinhead?
Uh, I didn't know too much about this movie going in. I did. I think I watched James Rolfe talk about it, but I didn't really sit down to watch it myself.
Until tonight.
Yeah. Even then, I may have to rewatch it to understand what I'm if I'm missing anything, because Discord is not exactly the best place to watch movies.
Yeah. I actually shared screen the whole entire movie with J-Man to watch it, and it's actually a really good movie, to be honest, for a monster uh movie. I mean, it does a really good job of setting itself up. Basically, let's go over the summary of the movie. Like let's go over what it's about. So, uh, of course, this movie stars Lance Henriksen. He plays as Ed Harley. Him and his son, Billy, I believe the boy's name is Billy. Billy Harley.
Oh,
Billy. But yeah, Billy. Him and his son. They live out in the sticks. They live in a cabin. They run a some sort of store. But the movie actually opens up in the early 1950s or 40s.
late to 1950s.
In 1951 or 1957. Okay. So
Yeah,
the movie starts out, with this family. They lock themselves up because there's a creature out, a supposed demon called Pumpkinhead, and he's out on the loose after somebody. And that's one way to build up the creature, and of course, the boy that is in that scene turns out to be Ed, when he was younger. And then you flash forward to present day. You have these annoying teenagers. That's the best way to describe them. The teenager characters I couldn't really get into because, I mean, there's not really much to them at all as characters. But one of
by
the
the way,
characters.
by the way, I'm going to call out YouTube right now. YouTube, fix your shit, because I can't like the stream.
But anyways, getting back to the summary of the film. Uh, so one of the teenagers is riding on a motorcycle, and he ends up running over Billy, the little boy, which I've seen a lot of these horror movies, and some of them won't even go out of their way to kill a child. But in this movie, you actually see a child get ran over by a motorcycle, and it's.
I think the only way you get a pass is if your name is Stephen King.
Yeah. But anyways, Ed Ed is a terrible parent, by the way, because he leaves his son he leaves his son, uh, only to come back and find him dead. It's crazy. He deserves a Father of the Year award. Father of the Year.
Father of the Millennium.
Yeah, I mean, good job letting your son get ran over by a bunch of stupid teenagers. But yeah, that's the best way to describe them. They're really stupid in this movie. But anyways, uh, he goes out and decides to seek revenge on these teenagers. He gets the help from a witch, and she basically uses a ritual to call upon Pumpkinhead. And that's pretty much all you need to know going into this movie. Is there's a creature called Pumpkinhead, and he is going after people. Typical creature movie.
It's really, really basic.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Enjoy your spank.
And even then, sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, there is some continuity errors. Like for instance, and I know this is kind of a spoiler, but uh, when one of the teenagers dies, like they saw that bullets can't hurt this thing, like nothing can kill this thing at all. Yet they're stupid enough to try to shoot at it, or it's crazy. It is, and that's not the only thing. Uh, there is some story continuity inconsistency. Uh, where they talk about Ed's wife. Uh, we don't know what happened to her. We uh we don't really know much about most of these characters, especially the witch. We don't really know much about the witch, how she's able to have the power to bring forth this demon. We have no idea. We're just supposed to suspend all disbelief and believe that she's this powerful witch. And it's it's kind of all over the place. Some of the writing is, yet I get it. I get it that this is a monster movie, and there's not really much you can do in terms of trying to make a good monster slasher story, because everything's been done, just about it. And by the way, this movie was directed by Stan Winston, and you guys probably know him as the costume designer for Alien. He also made the practical effects in Jurassic Park. He made the dinosaurs. He made, and I'm not talking about the CGI dinosaurs. I'm talking about the actual dinosaurs, the actual practical stuff. Which that's what I love about this movie. Is I am a huge fan of practical effects. So, I mean, Stan Winston's signature is all over this. I mean, he created Pumpkinhead. I mean, he made the monster design, and Pumpkinhead looks fucking creepy.
Oh yeah, definitely looks demonic.
And it looks really good. I mean, the whole practical effects, everything about it, the setting, the atmosphere, it all looks really good. I mean, you could look at the creature design. Probably one of the biggest flaws I have with this movie is they don't go too much into the origin of Pumpkinhead. how Pumpkinhead became, well, Pumpkinhead. Like, the witch sort of talks about this child that was buried at the pumpkin cemetery. Uh, they made like a big mound or some there's like pumpkins growing out of the mound and everything, and there's a child buried there. Yet we don't really know much about it at all. We're not given a flashback or, anything. We're not given much of an explanation. And that's probably another thing is the witch character herself. She only shows up for 2 scenes. Like, and then she shows up at the end. But she doesn't really play much into this at all.
Yeah, we could probably get a similar result if we got a spell book or something.
Yeah. Uh, like we're supposed to believe that this is a demon, yet Pumpkinhead, like, he can walk into a church. I mean, you did see that scene where he breaks that cross, right?
Yeah, I did. He was definitely angry at the cross.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't know why though. I mean, he can
Well,
walk.
I take it as a demonic nature because demons do hate the cross.
I guess, but it still doesn't make any sense because he makes a fucking cross on one of the teenagers' faces. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the death scenes in the movie, some of them might piss off a lot of people because, oh, there's not enough gore in it. But keep in mind, the movie itself was made with a very small budget. I think the budget was like $3 million that went into this movie.
Yeah, don't expect Freddy Krueger levels of gore.
No, but I mean, the 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 creature effects is enough for me to have chills. I mean, even the whole atmosphere itself, you just get goosebumps. Like, I live out here in the sticks, by the way, so I know that feeling when you walk outside into the woods late at night. Uh, you feel the cold wind just brushing up, you know, on you, and it gives you that chilling sensation, like, you shouldn't be here. That's what I got from watching this movie. Uh, I only watched it one time. It came on television. I believe it was on the Sci-Fi Channel or somewhere. Uh, and I actually enjoyed it when I was a kid. I enjoyed Pumpkinhead, and it's definitely uh, I guess a lot of people might consider it a cult film, which it has a cult status. It has become a cult status. But I mean, it feels more to me like it's a B movie than anything else. I mean, some of the acting in it is really bad.
Oh yeah, like that hunter, that old man with the shotgun that
Get off
just
my
doesn't
land!
sell his
I'll
that
shoot
doesn't sell
you!
his lines at all.
I'll shoot you! Hey, don't test me, boy. I'll put a cap in your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, some of the acting, especially the teenagers. Some of the teenagers were really bad actors. Uh, uh, let's see. I think the best actor in this movie, of course, is Lance Henriksen, which he's been in a lot of movies, a lot of horror movies. Um, he's He's awesome. He's the best actor in this. You could feel his, you know, his emotions when his son is killed. Uh, you can understand he's angry. You can understand just, you know, just his facial expressions, especially that facial expression he gives to that boy, like, "Oh, you fucked up, son. You fucked up." It's uh he's definitely really good. He's probably the best thing about this movie. And look at that. Yeah, this is when you know this is near the end. One of the stock photos here from the movie. When his eyes, matches that of Pumpkinhead's. I thought that was a really cool effect.
Yeah, it was cool, but it does leave you wondering: is he turning into a similar creature? What's going on there?
I mean, the witch basically told him that the witch told him that he would have to pay the price. When he went back to the witch's hut to try to cancel out the curse, which they don't really explain that. Is it a curse or is it, a ritual or, or just summoning a demon? But apparently it's a curse, according to this movie. The curse of Pumpkinhead is when you summon Pumpkinhead, um, it or whatever. I mean, whoever summons Pumpkinhead, the person that uh, the person that has Pumpkinhead's mark, or I guess that's what they call it, the mark of Pumpkinhead. That's the person that resurrects him. Well, not the witch. The person whose blood that goes into Pumpkinhead, or the yeah. You guys get what I'm saying. Uh, Apparently they are one and the same. When Pumpkinhead feels pain, he feels pain, or when when he got bitten by the wolf. You saw how Pumpkinhead moved his arm, like, gosh, that hurt. It's the same thing. So the only way to kill Pumpkinhead is, of course, he would have to pay the price, which, of course, is his own life. And that's what happens at the end of the movie. I mean, it basically all of it plays out. I mean, there's subtle hints that the movie gives you that Ed has something to do with this. You know, you know, he plays a big factor into this. But yeah, I completely agree with you about the witch. When we were talking about the witch earlier, it's like she doesn't really do much. I mean, yeah, she calls upon Pumpkinhead or she does the ritual and stuff, but that's all she does. Like she doesn't really do much of anything else in the movie. What's up, Goth Taku? How are you doing, man? But yeah, we're talking about Pumpkinhead. It's a very interesting movie. I mean, but I had a good time watching it. I really did. I can honestly say that despite all the problems with it, which we'll get into more of that as we go along here, it's really enjoyable. I mean, it's a movie you can sit down and watch and just have a good time. There's a lot of stuff you can make fun of. Obviously, I mean that's every horror movie now. But it's actually really good. Not gonna lie. It has a good atmosphere, good direction. I mean, pretty solid direction. But I mean, with every horror film, there's always problems. There's no such thing as a perfect movie. J-Man, do you have anything to say?
I honestly think that there's a couple of the things they could have left out of the movie and probably added it onto. For instance, I think that they could have taken out the whole flash sequence where the guy where the father sees Pumpkinhead for the first time. Did you see the other thing I had? The childhood trauma and all that. Could have probably taken that out. Because we didn't really need to see it. We just needed it to understand what was going on. Uh, and the witch, we could have actually done without her, and probably. But I won't take her out completely. Probably keep her in really as mad. Visions of probably the father going insane, thinking the witch is controlling him, nothing else would appear, goading him into actually performing this ritual.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing. Like, when they played that, when at the very beginning of the movie, Ed as a boy, he sees this monster. He knows, he knows about the monster and what the monster is capable of doing. I mean, as he witnessed it himself as a child, which should have told you right there that this was going to be a bad idea. Like, you shouldn't tamper with evil. Even if, something happens to your loved one, even if they die. To quote one of my favorite movie characters from a certain movie, sometimes dead is better. But, yeah, it's. I guess I could see where you're coming from. Me personally, I think that, they could have explained things a little bit better, especially in regards to Pumpkinhead's origin, like how he even became Pumpkinhead and how this ritual plays into that. Like, we don't really know much about the characters at all, especially the witch character. Where does she fit into all this? Who is she? Like, we know very little going into it, and I thought the movie would do a better job of explaining that to us, but it doesn't. The movie is kind of all over the place with exposition, for which there barely is any. There barely is any explanation as to what's going on, because I mean, yeah, you're watching it, but you don't know why Pumpkinhead is like here's another thing. How would Pumpkinhead know to go after those teenagers? I mean, we don't see the witch, you know, uh tell Pumpkinhead any directions or anything like that. Uh and not only that, you know, how would Pumpkinhead even know where they are? Which I know that's a horror cliche of, creatures or, killers not knowing, or appearing out of nowhere in front of people. I know that's a cliche in horror movies, but it to me though, it just is all over the place. It could have done a better job of explaining things clearly. Uh, but I can kind of forgive it at the same time. I can kind of forgive it because I mean, the fun thing about this movie is just, you know, its atmosphere and just, Pumpkinhead himself. I mean, it does do a good job of building it up, like building up this monster. It does a really good job of doing that. And, the director sort of knew exactly what he wanted. And I guess what he was trying to do was leave it all ambiguous, kind of leave us to fill in the blanks. And I had a feeling in my gut that there was going to be a sequel to this. Like, there's more to this story, and of course, we know what we got after this. But that's what I felt. I felt there was more to this story than, just, Pumpkinhead going after people for no reason, and that's what I was hoping it would do. It would sort of explain that, but it really doesn't. But yes, Pumpkinhead would end up with $4.4 million in the box office, so it barely scratched over its budget. And of course, it would get a sequel, Pumpkinhead 2, which, oh my god. If you want to talk about a movie that butt fucks the entire series and basically makes no sense, like if you thought Pumpkinhead doesn't make no sense, watch Pumpkinhead 2, which, by the way, we will be watching Pumpkinhead 2. Oh gosh, I want to show you Pumpkinhead 2.
Have you seen Audition or per- Perfect Blue?
Have you ever seen Audition or A Perfect Blue? I've seen Perfect Blue. I I have seen Perfect Blue. Are you talking about Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue?
I've
Also,
same
watch
that
Phantasm.
and
That's my favorite horror movie. I'll have to watch that actually.
I've seen Perfect Blue as well.
I have seen Perfect Blue. I've
It
seen.
just it just doesn't do it for me.
Sorry. Yeah, no one is dying. That's just J Man's roommate.
Yeah, he's on VR chat right now, and he gets extremely loud when he's on VR chat.
Yeah, he can't control that, unfortunately. So I do apologize, people. But I mean, Pumpkinhead 2 is a direct to a DVD sequel, actually, or I think it's a direct video sequel, whatever they call those now. But yeah, it's a direct to video sequel. It has nothing to do with the first movie at all, which makes no sense. But we'll get into that once we've watched it. I need to go back and watch it, which I really don't want to. But for entertainment's sake, I think we should. But let's get into a little bit about, how the movie actually made us feel as a horror movie. I think I felt, sense of chills watching this. Just, the whole scenery and everything. Uh the fact that, there's not a whole lot of lighting in the movie. I mean, it's mostly dark. And that's the type of setting I like. I like dark settings because it adds on to the atmosphere, and it draws you in. It basically shows you the world of Pumpkinhead. Like what it's trying to show you is that even the woods can be a dangerous place. You can get paranoia, you can get dread, and it does a really good job of doing that. I mean, of course, it's not the best movie that does that, but it's still pretty solid for what it does. Wouldn't you agree, J-Man?
I I do get what they're going for. They were really trying it to go for the more atmospheric aspects of horror, and they succeeded in that regard. It is very atmospheric.
I mean, I love
Um,
I love the church. I love this scene right here where he's standing right at the door, and you see that cross in the lighting, and then you see all the fog coming in, and the church is like tore down, like it's completely demolished,
it's
and
like a big fire had happened to it a long time ago. It's
yeah,
abandoned.
I love it. I really do. It's probably my favorite set in the entire movie. Is just that church. When they are running away from the creature, and they think that, oh, he won't step in here, but of course he does, because he's Pumpkinhead and he don't care.
Yep. Yeah, I love that they pretty much said he won't come in here. He's a demon, right? And then all of a sudden, the Pumpkinhead comes in and basically says, "Sup, bitches."
What's up, bitches? It's me, Pumpkinhead. How are you? I love the scene when he's in the closet, like when he goes after that boy in the closet. Like you see the drool just dripping down, and that's what Stan Watson's good for. Making practical effects look believable. Like he's done a lot of work in terms of creature design. I mean, he did Aliens. He did the creature design for Aliens. Well, he didn't do the original drawings of the aliens. That was H.R. Geiger, but he made the monsters, the actual suits, which that's sort of what Pumpkinhead reminds me of a little bit of Aliens. Like looking at the way his head's shaped. But look at that. I mean, shaped like a pumpkin. But I mean, it sort of reminds me of an alien though.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of an alien as well.
My favorite death scene though from the movie is it would have to be the shotgun death, where he stabs the dude with the shotgun and picks him up. He picks
Oh
him up
yeah,
with the shotgun. It's so fucking. It's actually pretty funny, but at the same time, it's like, I that's one way to use a gun. Which, by the way, did you know Pumpkinhead actually has a comic book series? Which, here's the thing, uh, I knew that that there was a comic series based on it, and it sort of does go over the origin of Pumpkinhead. It explains more than what the movies do, but I think that there's a lot of people that have no idea what Pumpkinhead even is to even bother to read the comics. But I know a lot of people would be like, "Hey, you should just read the comics." But are we saying that this is the best creature movie? Like, supernatural creature movie. Is this the best one, J-Man? Are we saying that?
no, because honestly, I can think of several others that are
Alien.
better.
Alien.
Gremlins.
Gremlins. uh, let's see. I mean, Gremlins is by far the best one I've seen in terms of the creature designs and practical effects in that movie. I think it's the best one by far. Uh,
The
Alien,
Thing.
The Thing, uh, fucking the list goes on and on. We could show you plenty of good creature movies, but I mean, Pumpkinhead, I would definitely say it's a good movie. It's a good movie to just sit down and watch. Uh, is it the best horror movie out there? No, absolutely not. But god damn it, did it give me chills? And it is creepy. It comes off as very creepy. So I think for a creature movie, it's done its job pretty well. I mean, yeah, it could have used a little bit more gory death scenes because I love gore. I love that, and if you're gonna watch the movie because of that, expecting any gore, you'll probably be disappointed. The closest goriest death I've seen in this movie was probably the cabin death where he smashes the girl's face into the window and you see the blood pouring out of the sink and stuff. That's probably the closest one that you come to, seeing blood and gore. Uh that's one aspect I was really disappointed in. I was expecting a little bit more, gore, but I guess Pumpkinhead is not that type of creature. He's mostly about torturing the victim before he kills them. But I will say, for his first time directing, this this is actually pretty good. I mean, he's not uh he's not the best director. I wouldn't say he's Steven Spielberg or anything, but Stan Watson, uh, he sort of knew. Look at that! Look at that! Oh my god! My fucking thumbnail made it on Google Images. Oh my god! Oh my gosh, I love you, Google. Sometimes I do, but yeah. Uh, it's not a gory type of movie. It's just a chilling, dark movie that you can easily get into. You can get into it. But J Man, what do you have to say?
Uh, for me, I think that this is a good popcorn flick. It's don't go in there expecting too much. Just sit back and enjoy the ride, eating some popcorn. Uh, that's what my takeaway from it is. I I can't say I was scared at any point in time in Pumpkinhead. I could feel some tension every so often, but I I just can't say it's my cup of tea, especially considering I've been more into the psychological aspect of horror recently. So all in all, it's all right. It's relatively harmless. I just say it's not something that I can be a massive fan of.
I mean, it sort of gives off an Evil Dead kind of vibe, and it also has the it sort of has a Blair Witch vibe as well. But but that's that's just me. I mean, especially close to the end where Ed Harley, um, you know, look at him. I mean, he has a fucking flamethrower strapped to his back, fucking pitchfork going through him. I mean, fucking badass. I mean, even though we don't actually get the chance to see them. I mean, we sort of get them fighting, sort of when they are in the woods. He shoots at him. Of course, that doesn't do anything to Pumpkinhead. But I thought, and that's probably another thing I was kind of disappointed at. I thought we was gonna get that epic fight scene with Ed and Pumpkinhead, but no, we don't even get that, sadly. And I was hoping we'd get that, but yeah, I mean, really, all I have to say, and this will probably be my final thoughts on it. Uh, it has some pretty solid direction in some instances. I definitely think it's a good movie. It's probably the best movie in the entire series. Because I've seen the other movies, and they are not good at all. But this one, uh, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it with you, J Man. Uh, Hopefully we'll get to watch more horror movies. As we go through the rest of this month. But yeah, I would definitely recommend people to watch Pumpkinhead. If you haven't seen it, watch the first Pumpkinhead movie. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. It's actually pretty good. All right, you J Man.
Uh, I would definitely have changed a bit of this movie uh, to sort of try to make it a little more coherent and to try and explain motivations a little better and probably even add on to characters because as it is now it is somewhat of a mess, uh, but overall, yeah, it's it's not too really too bad if you just want to watch something and chow down on some popcorn. So it has my recommendation.
All right. Uh, so that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all we have to say about the movie. But if you guys stay tuned later, I'm actually gonna be playing the game because, believe it or not, there is a game. There is a game based on Pumpkinhead, and
If we keep this up, we are going to get to become Cinemassacre.
oh yeah, oh boy, the game is called Blood Wings, Pumpkinhead's Revenge. You guys have probably heard of this game. Spoonie reviewed it, and it is not a good game. But you know what? I'm going to put my gaming skills to the test, and I'm gonna try to beat it. Because I am the king of video games.
Get in line. There's plenty of other people claiming that title.
We're gonna find out just how bad it is. Because I'm going to fucking play it for the very first time. I've never actually played this game. I've seen walkthroughs of it. I've seen, Spoonie's video of it. I've seen reviews of it. But I'm going to experience it myself. And, hopefully, J Man, you'll stay tuned with me. And we'll go through this. Yes, the spoony one. But
Yes,
yes, J Man.
Cookie Spoony.
Yeah,
Because
but
after all, he lost his goddamn mind.
yep, yep. So I might end up doing that either tonight or tomorrow night. Because that's something I want to do. I mean, after watching this, and we're also gonna be watching Pumpkinhead 2, so that way, we have full knowledge of the game that we're going into, and then we'll do a stream of our review of Pumpkinhead 2.
By
After.
the way, just a disclaimer, okay, so I do sometimes like bad sequels as opposed to the originals.
Yeah, this is not one of those good bad sequels. This is one of those shitty sequels that you just don't want to watch. It's like, what the fuck? What's the point of this? It doesn't follow. It doesn't follow the original movie. It doesn't follow the first movie at all. Doesn't have the same characters. Uh, in fact, uh, you have different teenage characters this time around, and there's a different witch character. It's not the same witch character, and it makes even less sense than the first movie. But at least with the first movie, you can actually sit down and watch it and enjoy it. The second movie, oh god. Let me just say, the second movie, you would wish that they didn't make it, and you question why they would even bother making a sequel. But that's gonna be left for another discussion. We'll get into why that movie's bad. But nevertheless, I'll let you guys know when I am going to stream Blood Wings Pumpkinhead's Revenge. J-Man, hopefully you'll join me as we play through the game. The game is actually based on the second movie, so we may have to watch the second movie first before we step into Blood Wings.
What is the blood? What is the what console was Blood Wings on, or was it only on
it
PC?
was on PC. It was made by Electronic Arts.
I
Yeah.
can already see his post PTSD going on in the chat.
Yep. Yep. It's gonna be fun. You guys get to see me torture myself. Me and J Man. We gotta watch and endure this fucking shitty game, as well as watch one of the worst fucking movies ever. But it should be fun. So that's really all I have to say. J Man, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jman the Dual Blad. No, again, Twitter. Why you do this? Uh, that you can find me on Twitch at Jman the Dual Blade again. And you can also find me here on YouTube. Uh, and this Saturday, if uh, if I can lock it down, I'm going to have that umbrella guy on. I just need to lock him down, and we'll be talking all sorts of horror. Hope I may invite you if Hero Hey isn't interested. Uh, but it's gonna be fun.
Right. And I mean, I would definitely love to hop on with you and Tug. So I mean, I'd be more than happy to sign on with you guys. But nevertheless, that's really gonna be it for this stream. Because I can't think of anything else to say about the movie. Uh, just go watch Pumpkinhead if you want to experience, the world of Pumpkinhead. But yeah, I'm sorry this is such a short stream. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about the movie. But hopefully I'll be doing more streams where we can actually get into a big discussion about certain movies and video games. But yes, follow me on Twitter at Canvas Pirate, so that way you're kept up to date with the latest announcements of streams and videos and everything else. And also, you can ask me for art commissions. I have art commissions open. Uh, I am also gonna open up music commissions soon as well. But for right now, I'm doing art commissions. If you want to commission me, I'll just DM me on Twitter, and I'll give you the price. But nevertheless, that's gonna be it. Hope you all enjoyed this stream, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. And also be sure to subscribe to J-Man the Dual Blade. So, thank you, J-Man, and thank you all for joining me here tonight to discuss Pumpkinhead. I appreciate it. So, you all have a good night.
See you later, folks. Peace.